Hello, hello! Welcome everyone to the stream. David Snowpick here from Snowpack Games. Let me mess with the overlay here for a second. Make it into a proper overlay. I saw there were some eyeballs watching. Welcome everyone. I don't know who is here unless you say something in chat. Otherwise, I just have a little eyeball with a number next to it, which isn't nearly as cool as knowing who's out there. So please say something. You also get a character on the overlay. I'm very surprised to see only myself here. I'm not sure that that has happened since we introduced the overlay. Okay, what's the next button I gotta hit? I gotta hit something. Gotta make this green. There we go. Okay, I will turn this into a proper overlay. By the way, this overlay is something that we created on stream in Godot. It is a Godot game, and it is a little fidgety to get going here, but I will have it in a moment. There we go. The overlay should be displaying. If it is not, please let me know. And yeah, I don't know. I feel lost. I don't know what to do if nobody's there, nobody to talk to. What? Normally I ask how you guys are doing and what projects you got going. And it's always great to hear what everyone else is doing. In this case, I guess I'll just talk about what I've been doing. Since the last stream, I finished that add-on. Hey, Andrew Slay, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. Last stream, we were working on a add-on for the Godot add-on jam #1. We made this export on save add-on, which it turns out, like, basically nobody else thinks this is a good idea. But I know I'm going to use it. I made the add-on I wanted to use, not necessarily the add-on that the most other people might also want to use. Hey, Aknakos, how's it going? So Andrew Slay, you got a pretty sweet character. You got like some chest plate and like a really sweet centurion kind of helmet with a green mohawk going. Aknakos, you are a bearded troll with, I can't quite comprehend what your shirt is. That kind of looks like maybe like a vest, like a tuxedo vest or something. I'm not sure. Anyway, guys, Aknakos, Andrew, how are you doing? How are your game projects going? So for me, I finished this add-on, posted it. That was cool. I tried a whole bunch of the add-ons here. I didn't get a chance to try all of them. I just didn't have the time, but so many of these look really cool. Some of the ones that I want to get to try still are this Godot Sheets thing. I think it is probably just opening CSV files, but I haven't tried it. That sounds cool. There's logging one just to see what that's about. I mean, I never seem to like other people's logging tools, but I want to check that one out. What other ones was I looking at? Oh, this looks horrible. Emilio's one where you have to defuse a bomb every once in a while. What else do we got? Plugin template, PlayFab. Stream Toy seems interesting. It's like a client-server thing for integrating your game with Stream APIs, kind of like what we're doing here. Oh, who just joined? Andrew Bingham, welcome to the stream. You got like practically the same character as the other Andrew. Is there a conspiracy of Andrews afoot? You guys both got similar helmets, similar chest plates? I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. You guys are in cahoots. There were a whole bunch more I wanted to try. Why am I not seeing them? Well, anyway, the ones I did try were awesome. There's the draw ones where you get to draw on the screen. That was super fun. Otherwise, I published the second video in my netcode tutorials series. Got that out. And what else did I put on my list? That's it. That's all I did. In general, I actually had kind of a crummy week. It was just like work was terrible this week. Andrew Bingham says, hey, going good. Trying to get to grips with VR and Godot on my phone and TV. Okay, so you are quite busy while going on this stream. Aknakos, hey, thanks for checking out my add-on. Need to check out the other ones too. Yeah, Aknakos, I dug your add-on. Like, it's way more generally useful than mine. I will admit that readily. Yeah, I will definitely probably use your add-on in the next like new thing that I'm making. Oh yeah, his week was your week, Aknakos, was work filled as well. Yeah, so today I'm thinking we will mess around in Godot 4 Alpha 1, maybe poke around a little bit, see what's going on, and then whatever you guys feel like digging into, or whatever I see that maybe I want to dig into, we'll go deep on something, on like one thing. And I have no idea what that is. I've done exactly no preparation for this stream, which either means this stream is going to be amazing or a complete disaster. So we will see. I don't know how much has changed in Godot 4 since the last pre-alpha. Which is the last time that I took a look at it on stream. We were working on netcode stuff last time. So I mean, if people want to dig into that, we could even pick up where we left off with that project. We were trying to set up a mesh network with eNet, which is something completely new in Godot 4, being able to do mesh networks with eNet. And we kind of got stuck on the fact that we needed to make a signaling server, and I just didn't quite have the patience to like really put that together. But I don't know, if you guys wanted to do that, we could finish that out. Otherwise, there's so many other things to check out. Oh, so Andrew, you are both of the Andrews, Bingham and Slay. So you're on the TV and on your phone getting two characters. Interesting. I assumed that was two different Andrews. In any case, yeah, there's a whole bunch of things in Godot 4 I haven't checked out yet. Like I haven't looked at the new tile set editor. The new tile map stuff. Probably everyone else has looked at that because that's been like a huge deal. And I know there's been a couple of videos and probably a couple other streams on it. So you guys might be sick of it, but it's completely new to me. So I'd also like to check that out. Maybe just a little bit, just poke in there for a second. Oh no, Andrew Slay and Andrew Bingham are not the same Andrew. Aknako says, so you already are using the new GD extension? I couldn't understand how it works yet. Who's that question aimed at? If you're asking me, I am not already using the new GD extension. If that was some other comment I might have missed. But I really want to try the new GD extension. I want to port SG Physics 2D to Godot 4, and I want to do it as a GD extension. So that would be something that maybe we could poke around with, although anything that digs into C++, as you guys know from all of my C++ streams, will just go slow. You know, we'll probably get practically nothing done if we try to mess around in GD extension, but it's cool, and I really want to look at it, so maybe that's something we could poke at too, if you guys were digging it. Nakos to Snowpeck, I wonder if you made the netcode for Godot 4 in it. No, so the netcode stuff we were doing in Godot 4 before was just all GD script. But yeah, like I just said, I really do want to dig into GD extension. It seems really cool. I was looking at a GD extension thing that Bastian made for VR, obviously, because VR is something I'm hugely interested in. And it was really awesome seeing the code because it did not look like GD native code, which is horrible. I do not like writing code for GD native. It is kind of a painful experience. It looked like writing Godot module code, and writing Godot module code is awesome. So I'm really excited to finally get a chance to check it out. Okay, so what should we look at first? I kind of do want to look at the tile set stuff. You guys let me know if the tile set stuff is super boring, super old news for those of you who have dug into Godot 4 already. Why is my... We saw a bug like this before where pressing Control-A didn't always open the window, and it totally just happened to me when we were trying the pre-alpha. Now it's working every time. Okay, Control-A. Let's throw a tile map on here. I've not watched any of the tutorials or anything about this, so I know nothing. The only thing I've seen of the tile map is the articles that Gilles, is it Gilles who's working on the tile map, has made, and the different like GIFs that have been posted to Twitter. So I'm going to be a little bit lost as I figure this out. The layer thing is interesting. I'm excited to see how that works. Patterns, terrains. So how do we get started? If this were old school, we would create a new tile set, which I guess, yeah, okay, that's how we do it here too. This tile map's tile set has no source configured. Edit the tile set resource to add one. So do I click it? I clicked it. Oh, here we go, tile set down here. All right, so let's do what we do and grab something from Kenny. Grab one of my faves. Something interesting with like that we can test out the terrain stuff for. There's an RPG one that I use all the time. I probably even already have it downloaded, but hey V, how's it going? You got a sweet character, an orc with some long braids? From where can I download this version? Godot 4 Alpha 1 can be downloaded from godotengine.org, and then you got to go to the news section, which I typed in the URL, but you can just click here. And it is the third article down as of this writing. Major milestone ready for testing. Godot 4 Alpha 1. There is a link sort of towards the top that says jump to the download section now, and you can grab it here. I subscribe to the issues on, or do I subscribe to the issues? No, I subscribe to the PRs on the main Godot repo and the issues on the Godot proposals repo, and there has been like a ton of bug fixing that has happened since the Godot 4 Alpha 1, so I expect this experience to be a little bit buggy. Here we go. I think this is the one that I like to use because it's got these different bits of terrain where it's like 9 different tiles for like the same kind of thing, and maybe we can figure out how to integrate that into the new tileset tool. Roguelike pack, zip, download it, go. And let's unzip that. Roguelike RP pack. And I hate how people make zip files that don't include a containing folder. It's like the most frustrating thing on earth. Maybe that's only frustrating to me because I'm a Linux user and I'm used to people making, tar.gz files that always include a containing folder. In any case, here is the sprite sheet. I'm going to pull it out. We'll make an assets directory and I will move it. The roguelike sheet transparent over to assets, and then we'll delete this little temporary directory I made. Aknakos, I love how Kenny has plugins in Godot with some of the most used assets. Yeah. And Kenny's like getting into actually using Godot now, which is super awesome. Okay, so we have the image file. Let's grab that from here. I'll drop it in there. Auto-create tiles in non-transparent texture regions. The atlas texture was modified. Would you like to automatically create tiles in the atlas? I think yes. I think yes is the answer. However, it has the wrong dimensions. I'm looking at this and like it's not lining up. Should I have changed the tile size before I drag that in there? Let me say no, and I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to... Did I just delete the whole node? Okay. I thought I was deleting something down in the resource area at the bottom. I should have known better. Thought I should have been using the buttons over here. Okay, so new tile set. Click on the tile set. It is 16 by 16. I can't remember what this one is. We may have to open it up in an image editor really quick just to see what the dimensions are. Let's just open up in the GIMP real quick. Roguelike sheet transparent. We need the little tool guy. We're gonna grab the selector. We're just gonna select something. Oh, and it's got a margin in there too. So what is that? 16 by 16. Okay, so it was just the margin that was messing things up. So it is 16 by 16, but with a 1 pixel margin. Let's give this a try. I mean, what's the worst that can happen if I just say yes to the question of should it auto-create tiles? So here's where I'd put in the margin. Let's say yes. Let's just see what happens. I'm going to press yes. And that's not what we want. Okay. So these are all wrong. Let's go back to the tile set. Okay, this time I'll hit the little garbage can. Let's add an atlas. We're going to we're going to add a X and Y, or not margin, I guess is that a separation? X and Y separation. And let's drag this sheet into the texture. And now let's say yes. Did that work? Whoo, that worked. All right. I saw some chat. Let's see what you guys are saying. Probably telling me what I should be doing. Hey, The Clean, welcome to the stream. It seems like it's been a while since you've been here. At least I don't recall seeing you last week. Aknakos is also saying hi. Bob Boop team, StarCraft 2. Hello, how's it going? I remember you were saying something on YouTube about the rollback netcode add-on. I can't remember exactly what your comment was, but I remember it was nice. It made me feel good. So thank you for that. All right, so we made a tile set, I think. And I guess let's save this scene. I don't want to call it that, though. Let's call it main. Let's rename the top-level node as well. I always like to have the top-level node match. And that's the tile set. Here's the tile map. I don't entirely understand why the tile map has all of the tiles here too. Oh, okay, so these tiles are like the palette, whereas in Godot 3 you had the palette on the right-hand side. All right, I get that. Let's grab some grass here, and we'll paint some grass on. All right. That's nice. Can I select multiple tiles at once, like in Tiled? I really love Tiled. So, yes, you can. Ho-ho! Thank you, Gilles. If I'm remembering right that it is Gilles, I hope so. So I'm not giving the credit to the wrong person. And then the layers. How do we mess with layers here? What does this little guy do? Does that recenter me? Let's hover. I'm not sure what that's supposed to do. How do we make a new layer? Automatically replace tiles with proxies. Don't know what that means. Place random tile. So place random tile, I could see that being useful for some of these. I know Kenny's included some, like, a bunch of different versions of the grass tiles. What is the best way to scroll? Ooh, middle click. I like it. So like these are two variations of the same tile. We put it on place random tile, and now, yeah, it is switching a little bit between them. That's cool. The terrain thing is something I'm really interested in trying. Gulliver J-Ham, how's it going? Bop Boop Team says, aha, no problem. I'm Teva on Discord. Oh, cool. So it's so confusing how people have different names at so many different things. Like, here's my Twitter name, here's my Discord name, here's my YouTube name. Great to have you here. You are welcome for the video. Object like no other. I gotta look at some of the characters here. So Gulliver J-Ham got an old man with a beard. Object like no other got an orc with, is that a helmet? I'm not entirely sure. Oh, the Clean! Look at you! You are a proper knight. You got the, what is that thing that they use for jousting? I can't remember what that's called. But you are looking awesome. You are ready to go into battle. Oh, Bop Boop Team. I like yours too. You got kind of like a caveman with the Hulk Hogan stash and looking good. So Object Like No Other says, this can do auto tile corners too, right? Nick Hope. Hey, Nick Hope, how's it going? I guess we're calling that a lance. That's not the name that I had in my mind for it, but I'm also really bad at remembering the names of things. So you are probably right, sir. You are probably right, Mr. Nick Hope. And you have a crown. I believe you are king of the orcs, wearing what is a very humble robe. So you must be one of those men of the people kind of kings. I think that's the thing you've got going there. So yeah, Object Like No Other, I don't know how the auto tile works. Like I mentioned before, this is my first time messing around with the tile stuff. I know a lot of people have looked at it already, and there's already tutorials and things, but I'm just in here poking around. I'm just poking around and seeing what we can do. The terrain stuff, I think, might be the auto tile thing that we are both hoping for, but I don't know how to use it. What do I do? What do we got? So this is a pencil. Okay, so these must be our tools. Like if I switch to the fill tool and I pick, let's say, water, with the fill tool. That fills in. It's not contiguous because I was doing the random tile thing earlier. Oh, it's still placing a random tile. We don't have that. Scattering is interesting. What does that mean? Is there any help stuff when I hover? And it's not letting me change that value anyway. What, can I change it when 2 are selected? No, I don't know what that's supposed to do. So drag and drop or paste a tile map selection here to store pattern. So that I remember seeing a GIF of in an article. So let's try that. Okay, I thought that was a selection. That's clearly not a selection. Is this a selection? Okay, that's a selection. Let's drag that in here. Okay, cool. So now we have a pattern. And then do we use that like a brush? Do we just use that as if it was a brush? No. It doesn't work like a brush. It just sort of stamps. But how do the terrains work? What do we do for terrains? Like this would make a good terrain. Do I like copy and paste it? Let's try pasting. Paste into both of these. No, that didn't do anything. I have no idea how to do this. And like some of the things I used to know how to do, like painting on the grids for the old auto tile, I don't even see where you do that. So I imagine you do the collision over here, just like you used to. What is this little brush? Select a property editor. Select a property. Oh, okay. Terrains. Okay. So maybe we do terrains over here. But how do we create a terrain set? Is that something we do in the tile set resource over here? Terrains! Terrain sets! Okay, here we go. Let's add an element. Match corners and sides. All right. Okay, so this is a terrain set to which we need to add a terrain. Let's do either this or maybe this one. Let's do this one. Let's do this one as a terrain. I'm in the wrong place. Tile set. Same thing though. I'll select this. Oh my god. This is so confusing. So I don't select it, or I do select it. I go to terrains. Terrain set 0. Terrain's peering bit. Interesting. Can I paint on the bit mask? Do I have to enter it? Ooh, okay, I got a 1, a 0. I'm now removing painting. Oh my god. Yeah, I don't know that I can get very far on this. I'm going to need to find the tutorial. I'm going to need to watch one of those tutorials out there. Baboop says, I think I'm a sage, like an old powerful guy in manga living in a mountain. Oh yeah, and then you have to go find him and he hasn't seen anyone in years before you start the big quest. Gulliver says, Godot works with float. I bet this is going to definitely bug out at some point. Just like Super Mario Maker that bugs out in a certain tile. Yeah. I mean, this looks really cool, but I think it's time to move on from the tile map editor. I'm going to need like a full 2 hours and some tutorials and some stuff to really get a handle on how this is supposed to work. This definitely seems like there's a lot more things we can do in here than we could do in the Godot 3 tile editor. Just all this stuff. So we were always able to paint physics stuff. We were able to paint collision shapes on there. But now we have terrains. We can set individual z-index and y-sort origin. Okay, I guess we could always set that too, but maybe that was like a tile set wide thing. For you would set like the y-sort origin to a different spot if you were doing isometric tile maps. Custom data. Seems very cool. Seems very cool, but I think it's time to check something else out. What do you guys want to see? What should we go check out in Godot 4? You know, I'm going to be a little bit more lost in the 3D stuff because I'm just not as good when it comes to 3D. But we should check some of that out too. I guess let's save our old scene. We can make a new scene. The import stuff for 3D is something I'm really looking forward to trying. And I forget, was it Aknakos? Was it you who was working on like a PR for that? Or was it the Clean? I can't remember. I can't remember who was doing that. But I think you guys have much more familiarity with the Godot 4 3D import stuff than I do, having never used it. Let's find a model. We'll stick with Kenny. Let's find something to import. The City Kit Suburban. I mean, yeah, I guess this will have individual models we can import and mess with. I'm actually interested to try the physics too. That is something we should do. We should definitely look at the physics as well. But since I started down this path, I will check it out. And as soon as I see what your guys' ideas are, we'll take a look at those too. I see a whole bunch of bubbles appearing here, but I'm going to not get distracted. You guys know how distractible I am, and try to accomplish one thing before I get totally derailed. So this was called City Kit. All right, we have a bunch of stuff. We want the GLTF models. So let's make a new folder for that. Put in assets, city kit, and we will move the models, GLTF, all of these things over to city kit. And let's go take a peek. Importing the, oh crap, I forgot to delete. I forgot to delete the temporary directory I made. I can see it importing a ton of stuff we don't actually want. Okay, let me delete the temporary directory. I'm going to delete the .import directory just so we can clear it out. Or no, it's not in .import anymore. It is now in .godot imported. Okay, yes. So we're going to remove .godot imported. And now it's just importing the stuff we want, those GLTF models. So if this were Godot 3, I would do one of two things. I would either, just because I wanted to see what something looked like real quick, I would grab it and drag it into the scene, which apparently does nothing, or I would double click it and then go to make new inherited scene, which I guess we can still do, but I have to right click it. Double clicking doesn't seem to work. Let me just try that just to see what it does. It appears to be invalid corrupted. Okay, it's possible that these just plain don't work, but let's go to the import tab and see what we can do. So we can import it as a scene, all of these things. I wonder if these models are just no good, or if I'm misunderstanding what I'm supposed to do here. Oh, cool. So I hit the advanced button. This is the new thing. This is the new thing right here. And it is actually loading it. So that's cool. We have a temp parent. I guess that'll end up being the node 3D when it happens. And then we have this mesh. I don't entirely understand the kind of, what is the difference between these two pieces here? If they're, so mesh instance 3D. And then is this the resource? And then these are the materials. So this is the resource that makes up the mesh, which is normally like an array pool something or other. Reimport. Why can I not actually use this? Let me try instancing it. Let's instance house type 12. No, error loading scene. So it loaded it like it previewed it. Do you guys know what I'm doing wrong here? Object like no other. GDScript? I don't know how much stuff there is to cover. Yeah, we looked a bunch at GDScript the last time we were looking at the pre-alpha. I have a pretty good handle, actually, on GDScript in Godot 4, so that's something that I will not just blindly flail my way around with. Nick Hope, does this build use custom Godot physics for 3D or still Bullet? I don't know what happened to Bullet. For sure, the Godot physics. The Godot physics engine will be in there, but I don't know if Bullet is still there or if that was completely removed. I don't know if the plan was to just make the Godot 3D physics match Bullet and keep Bullet, or if it was to completely remove it. We can look in the source code, actually, to check that. Aknakos, the LOD things, import 3D, cloud nodes. I'm not sure how many of them were backported to 3x, though. Godot 3 already uses Godot Physics Engine. So Godot 3 has a physics engine for 3D that I think nobody uses. I mean, maybe you guys do. Maybe you can correct me on that. But it's missing a bunch of stuff. So most everyone in 3D uses Bullet. And then in 2D, there's the 2D Godot Physics Engine, which lots of people use. But the 3D one is supposed to be a lot better. Gulliver says, physics before 3D was so buggy, objects would enter the ground just by being alone. Yeah, the lack of CCD or buggy CCD is a problem whenever I'd make a VR game in Godot 3. I would be fighting just forever not having objects fall through the ground, right? Because I'd want to be able to have cool interactions where I can pick stuff up and like throw it around, and then it would just all whoop right through the floor. Object like no other says, but it's optional, not bullets. Gulliver says, I want to see if it's broken now. So, okay, well, we'll mess around with some physics stuff. The default environment in 3D view is also very nice, though simple. There's a button on the top where you can edit where the sun is, for example. Aknakos, the yellow one is the resource indeed. Oh, thank you, Aknakos. Hello, Chestnut Puck. Welcome to the stream. What character did you get, Chestnut Puck? Oh, you got it looks like a princess with some long hair. Pretty kind of interesting blouse going there. Mesh instance node is a mesh property, and that's what you're seeing. Yep, so that's the resource on the mesh instance. No more Bullet in 4.0. Thanks for answering that question for us. I imagine someone will probably make a GD extension bringing Bullet back for the folks who really want it. Honestly, like I was just talking about, that issue with the CCD not working makes me just never want to use Bullet ever again if I can. And maybe it's fixable, and maybe someone will fix it and will change my mind about that. But I'm excited to use the new Godot physics engine. So should we do that? Let's try and import something that isn't going to break. Like, can I open any of these? It won't let me open it. Can I instance any of these? I don't know, let's try this large tree. Error loading scene. I don't know what's going on. Maybe we'll just have to try a different Kenny pack or something completely different entirely. It's weird that it can open it here, at least enough to make a preview, but can't give us anything else. All right, let's grab something from Sketchfab. The first thing that looks cool and with not too many polys, we will grab. A sneaker. I don't want to buy anything, dudes. I want some free stuff. Sure. Mira, are you free? Can I download you? What is the license? Okay, I was just using Sketchfab like 2 days ago, and I do not remember being this confused. This must be stream brain, where I just get dumber because I'm on the stream. You guys know what I'm talking about. The extra stress of being watched. Why do I not see where the license is, or how to download this? Is it because I'm not logged in? I have read and agreed to Sketchfab's terms and conditions. Yes, you may have my soul. Oh, yeah, I do not want the politics section. Let's stay out of there. Come on, just give me a model. Just give me a model. Any license, CC, anything, CC0, CC0. Let's do that. There are no CC0 things? Oh, from this week of all time. Yeah. Sure. Space shuttle. Download 3D model. GLTF sounds good. We will save it. And let's get rid of that Kenny stuff that we downloaded. And we will make another temporary directory to unzip this. And what was this called? It was called Orbiter Space Shuttle. And what is all of this stuff? So we have source, okay, which is another zip file. Textures. This is weird. I guess let's unzip the other zip file. And this looks like what we need. This looks like this stuff. And it's an actual GLTF, not GLB, which I guess is why we have the textures as external files. But that's fine. That's cool. We will move this whole thing. Orbiter Space Shuttle GLTF over into our assets directory, and we will clear our temporary directory and go see what Godot does for us. Okay, that took a while to import. I'm a little worried. We might have picked a model that was way too big. Oh, why is there an X there? That's not a good sign. Oh, not a good sign at all. The materials are looking real funky. Real funky. Re-import, I guess, just 'cause. Why can I not now instance this? It's like not importing at all. Does anyone know what I'm doing wrong here? Or am I just getting really bad luck with bad models? Is there any... Cannot save scene, blah, 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 error importing. Image index 1 could not be loaded from URI. Occlusion, JPEG. I mean, that file is there. Or is it because this JPEG isn't loading for some reason? What the heck? What do you guys think? Bad luck, or am I doing something wrong? Hey, Aaron Winter, welcome to the stream! I don't think you and I have ever chatted in voice form. It is great to have you here. Object like no other. I saw that you can go to the girl. Can I download you? Lol. Do you have Blender? You can just import a cube. Yeah, I could. I'm terrible at Blender. I've been trying to like do a little bit of modeling every day. And I was working on this robot hand because I wanted to make some hands for some VR prototypes that I am attempting to find the time to work on. And I am so crappy at Blender, I accidentally deleted it. It was like, I don't know what I did. I had like 2 Blender windows open, but I didn't realize I had 2 Blender windows open. And like I closed it and it closed both of them and it asked me, do I want to save? I'm like, why do I need to save? I just saved. I shouldn't need to do this, but okay, fine, I'll save again. And the second save like overwrote everything I had and it was terrible. But we can do some Blender-ness. Let's get rid of this light too. I don't know, we don't need to do anything interesting to this cube, do we? We could... just make it look kind of funky. We can do some extruding. That is not what I meant for that to happen. Maybe like a no, what are you doing? Like a, what is this called? A ring cut. And then we can maybe extrude this way, extrude this way. Make something a little bit interesting. I don't know. Whatever. It's a thing. And we will here's my robot hand that I deleted. We will save or maybe just straight export this as a GLTF. We'll go to games. Geez, Blender, you gotta give me a more usable. Can I do like in the normal? No, I can't. Games. We are doing Godot 4 test number 3, assets. Untitled is fine. Untitled GLB, that's great. Name it that. Go. Okay. So now we will determine if I'm doing something wrong or if I'm just having like really horrible luck. Untitled GLB is also not opening. It's also got a little X. Error importing Untitled GLB. Cannot open something or other. Unable to open. Okay, yeah, of course you can't open that. I deleted that. I deleted the roguelike sheet. I wonder, so when I accidentally imported all of that stuff, I deleted the imported directory thinking it would regenerate it, but what if it doesn't? What if that's the whole problem? Hey, it's way over there. I think that's what it was. I think that was user error. I think I screwed that up. And this is strangely just a cube and not the weird complicated thing that I made. See if the space shuttle comes in now. Okay. That's a little better than before. Am I too close? Not close enough? Wow, we are getting nowhere, guys. I was not expecting this many fidgety little problems. So we saw it for a second, right? And then where did it go? Scale is all ones, rotation zeros, position zeros. Where'd it go? Let's delete these. Let's instance them without dragging, just straight up instance them. Okay, here we go. Here we go. There's a space shuttle. Let's see if our cube works now too. There we go. There's my dumb cube-like thing. Since in the end, it's not quite a cube. It's a Tetris shape or something. What is everyone saying here? Aaron Winter, I certainly have heard your voice, though. Don't quite remember where. That's interesting. Maybe if you watched one of my videos or something. Otherwise, I don't know when we would have chatted, at least out loud. I'm pretty sure we've been on some of the same issues before, and we're both hanging out in the maintainers channel in Rocket Chat. It's the wrong format. Okay, so Aaron has no troubles with GLTF. Yep, I think we got to the bottom of that. Baboop says, ooh, nice skill debugging. I think in Blender, you export selected, then it's broken. This is a Blender issue for GLTF. You need to export the entire scene. Eventually it worked. Try importing. Also, sometimes you don't see meshes in the editor viewport, but you see them when running the game. Okay, so that's an alpha issue. No texture, Gulliver says. I think I remember reading that dragging the model is specifically broken right now. It definitely seems to be broken, like that was not working. But Aaron Winter says, oh, but you made it work. Woohoo! Yay. Okay, so we got a thing to come in to Godot. That's a good thing. But we didn't get to play with any of the new stuff, which is this thing. Which is actually remarkably uninteresting in this case, right? Because what are we going to change? I guess we can generate some LODs. I know someone wanted to see that, generating some LODs. We can generate some physics. Let's, okay, stay with me here. There we go. Let's make this be a, oh geez, what would that be? A dynamic body? Or no, a static? Okay, so I'm trying to remember the breakdown of the new nodes for physics. So I know character is kind of like a kinematic body, but that's only for character-ish shaped bodies, right? And this isn't going to be character-ish. static bodies for a period of time. There was talk about just making them be static bodies, but I know the plan changed a whole bunch of times. Let's just pick one. And then I'm going to go look at the help in the editor. I was going to go search on the website, but I'm too worried about getting like outdated information. So let's try dynamic. And this shape, I mean, seems fine. Let's try that. Importing. So what do we got now? Let's go. Yeah, I just want to look at it. I just want to look at it in Godot. Okay, open anyway. So we've got the mesh. We've got 2 collision shapes. I guess that's what it had to do to make it be convex. And we are what kind of body is this? I'm hovering. I'm hovering. That's how I used to determine what type a node was in Godot 3. I would just hover over it. It doesn't seem to be working. Okay, so this is just a plain node 3. What is this one? This is a rigid dynamic body. I did not actually want it to be a rigid body, unless I'm confused about what that means in Godot 4. Physics body, which is moved by 3D physics simulation, useful for objects that have gravity and can be pushed by other objects. So yeah, that's not what I had intended. That's not what I wanted. I wanted basically what you would use for a kinematic body, but not a character-shaped kinematic body. So let's look for physics body. Although maybe using a rigid body would be more fun. We could just launch this thing. We could just launch this shuttle. Oh, hey, guys, look, the texture loaded. Why did it take so long for suddenly the texture to load? But that's cool. Let's launch this space shuttle. Let's do it. Oh, but it's only loaded when I look at it in there? Interesting. So we'll call this, let's say, main 3D. We'll get rid of our dumb cube. We are going to rotate this space shuttle into its launch configuration. -90 degrees. Where is my up arrow? You are very tricky to see on this very light background here. There we go. Let's put like let's put a plane underneath it. We'll do a. It was doing the thing again. We're pressing Control A. Didn't work the first time. All right, mesh instance 3D. We will create a plane, which I am not seeing. Array mesh, box mesh, capsule mesh, cylinder mesh, immediate mesh. Oh, there we go, plane mesh. And we're gonna make you be huge. I don't know how big this model is. Okay, I guess the model's not really that big. So we'll make that be, 100 by 100. That looks pretty good. And we are going to add a script where we are going to launch this shuttle into space. Let's do on ready var. We'll call it shuttle, not shutter. Shuttle equals our orbiter, blah, blah, blah. Actually, let's rename this. This is a horrible name to have in a scene. We'll call this shuttle as well. Shuttle. And we are going to launch it. So what is that method called now? It was like apply, what was it in Godot 3? I don't remember. It might even be exactly the same, and I'm just not remembering. So let's go to rigid dynamic body. And we are going to apply a central force. We're going to launch it up into the sky. Apply. Oh, is it not coming through because I didn't give it a type? It's not auto-completing because I didn't give it a type. Apply central force. It just doesn't want to auto-complete for me. That's fine. That's okay. You can rest, Godot. I'll do the work. Apply central force. And we want to shoot it straight up. So vector 3 up times, I don't know, some number. That's probably going to be way too much. 10. Oh, and let's save this main 3D. We'll need a camera. Where's our camera? Probably down at the origin. Bring you up. Which way are you pointing? We'll turn you to point this way. And actually, no, let's put you way down and like look kind of up. I think that would be cool. That would be cool. And we will preview. All right. Do we need to make this camera be current? Current on. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Trying to assign value of node 3D to a variable type of dynamic rigid body 3D. Oh, right, because it wasn't the outer node wasn't the rigid body. It was like this inner node. Let me see what folks are saying in chat here. And we've got textures. Yes, we got it for a second. By the way, do you know what happened to rigid body 2D node that lost physics mode type like static, kinematic, character? I think there is still I think there still is a physics body where you can change like its mode. We'll have to poke around in the docs for that to figure it out. Aaron Winter says LODs only work on skinned meshes. Ah, okay, so we're not going to get anything cool out of that. This is absolutely physically accurate launch position for such a shuttle, yes. Apply force, autocomplete is currently broken. Okay, cool. Hey, Cheshkosha. It has a node icon, so it's not a rigid body. Yep, you caught it before me, man. You're quicker than I am, at least on stream where my IQ goes down by, 100%. Okay, so what are we gonna do here? Like, why is this node become the? Was that just a mistake I made when I was importing it? Let's go to import it again. Go import advanced. Did I just set that on the wrong thing? Yeah, I think I did. So we want the top level node to be this rigid body, rigid dynamic body 3D. Anything else that's important to select here? I don't think so. So let's re-import. I still don't know why we have the textures when we look at it in this view, but not in this view, and it's literally the same scene. But, all right, let's try this. Oh no! A couple of problems. We clearly did not apply enough force. Oh, it's saying that because I have this open. Close you, don't save. And we need to give a collision body to our mesh instance. So can we do this the way we used to? Yep. Create, let's say, a tri-mesh static body. Does that seem right? I can't see it. Oh, I can see it now. It's just really, really light. Okay. And the other thing is we need to apply way more upward force. Let's try this. Whoa, no, it's coming back down! And it still went through the floor. Is there a collision mask thing we need to mess with? What did I get wrong here? Collision, layer 1, mask 1. The shuttle is still listed as a node 3D. I'm just gonna like close this scene and open it again. Always the IT thing to do. Close it and open it again. Okay, so now it's a rigid dynamic body. Oh, and the textures are there. Closing it and opening it again. There you go. Here we go. The continuous CD, the CCD, I hope that actually works in the new physics engine. I will be very pleased with that. Or not actually works. I mean, it does work in Godot 3. Just there's so many cases where it doesn't work that it's very, very frustrating. And so that is what I'm looking forward to. The lessening of the frustration. So they're both colliding on layer 1. Maybe let's test out the continuous collision detection. Let's turn that on. And will it hit? It just goes right through. We also get the advanced import screen if you just double-click the GLTF. Interesting, that wasn't working for me before. I tried double-clicking originally. Ah, cool, cool. Maybe that was just an artifact of me having deleted that imported directory, and it was making just everything not work. Working CCD? Time to make a first-person shooter. Yeah, I don't know why it seems to not be working. I sometimes have trouble with planes. Let's make this not be a plane. Let's make this be a box mesh. And we will do, again, 100 by 100. And tab is not taking me to the next field. That's also quite frustrating. Oops, too much time in Blender. Okay. And we will move the shuttle a little bit more up. And it just needs way more force. Like 1,000 is not enough. Let's do 10,000, 100,000. And we need to generate the static body. And let's see what happens here. Okay, 100,000 was too much, I think. I think that might have been too much force. Or maybe I just raised it up too far. Okay, let's go 10,000 instead of 100,000. Let's look through the camera and make sure it's still visible, because I moved it up. I might have moved it up too much. No? Oh, okay. So we're clearly getting closer on the amount of force here. Let's try 3,000. And it goes up, 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 and away. And that might actually have gained orbit. Oh no, here it comes, and straight through again. Huh. Interesting. I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. This might be the sign that it's time to try something else. Like maybe let's mess around with what is the collision shape of your floor? Yeah, so I changed it to a box. Maybe just manually add the box collision shape. What does it look like, the one that it made? I mean, it doesn't look wrong. But yeah, we could try that. Okay, we're gonna try one more thing, Chestnut Puck. We're gonna try your idea of making the collision shape, and then let's move on to something else. I mean, I think it'd still be interesting to mess with physics, because some people were asking about the different physics bodies, but maybe something different, not with our shuttle here. So let's create the collision shape. And it will be a box shape, and we can use the same size basically as the other thing, although I think this is extents and the other one was not. No, okay, I guess they're both extents. All right, we have manually created our collision shape. Let's see what happens. I should probably have just left the force lower on this body so that it would fall sooner. No, why? Why are you just going straight through? All right, let's just do something fun and then move on. Let's apply, what is it where you apply torque? Is it torque force? Let's take a look at this. Oop, can't get to the docks that way. Apply torque. Apply torque impulse. Let's apply a torque impulse of, I don't know, pi. Or what is the torque? Is it done as a... Okay, no, because it's impulse, we need a vector. Okay, let's just apply torque. Let's just apply torque. Wait. It wants a vector for that too? apply torque. It says float. It says float right here. I don't know. I'm gonna make up a vector. I just want it to spin and be weird. Can I just have it spin and be weird? Up. Nope, my torque did nothing. Okay, let's try something else. Oh, Dr. Revert! Welcome, Dr. Revert, to the stream. We have too many characters. I can't find anybody. Oh, Gosha's got a Centurion helmet and the Jester costume. Where is Dr. Revert? Oh, there we go. You got maybe like a sailor's helmet going? Okay, I know. Turn on debug collisions in-game. Shuttle doesn't have collision shape. It should have a collision shape. Make sure and make it editable in place, then check present collision shape. Okay, fine. We won't move on. We won't move on just yet. We'll try a couple of things here. So let's do visible collision shapes. And why am I not able to rotate? Okay, I guess that menu didn't close on its own. I can't really see the collision shapes presently, but nothing is selected. Let's run it in game. That's where we should be able to see them. Okay, I'm seeing it down here, and I'm not seeing a collision shape on that. Did we need to do something in the import to generate the collision shape? If so, I guess we're still learning, right? Because this is what we wanted to learn, was how to use the new advanced import tool. So yeah, okay. How to do this? So if the top level node is the rigid body, the rigid dynamic body 3D, and this mesh is a child of it, we actually want the collision shape to be a sibling of this mesh. So how can I generate not a body, but a shape? Or how can I have this scene root just be skipped? So this would generate a new physics body, which we don't want. We want to generate just the shape. Maybe we should do like, who was it who suggested that we edit it? What if we do that? We'll go to shuttle, we'll say editable children, and then here we'll generate a sibling. That is way too much. No. Let's try. What are you complaining about? Doesn't concave? Yeah, okay, fine. But we don't want you anyway. We want this gone. Cannot operate on nodes from a foreign scene. But I just added that. You let me add it, now let me remove it. Wow, okay. Yes, that's fine. Go back to their default. Editable children. It still has a collision shape here now for some reason. Okay, let's just delete this and add it again. We'll add this guy again. Shuttle. We'll try one more time. And if this doesn't work, I'll go back to looking in the advanced import stuff. Simplified convex collision sibling. Single convex collision sibling. Let's try this one. Mesh is empty. Is it really? Is the mesh really empty? I guess it looks empty. Okay, well let's save this. We'll close it and open it again since that solved a bunch of our problems last time. Okay, so here it is. Here's the shuttle. We're going to, again, rotate it. Where is the transform? There it is. Do exactly -90. We will bring it up. And we're going to attempt to generate a simplified convex collision sibling. So that looks good. That looks good for our purposes. It is a dynamic rigid body. It has this shape. Now it should crash horribly when it comes back down. It still doesn't. It still doesn't do it. It has a collision shape now. And we didn't see it. The collision shape wasn't visible for some reason in the scene, even though it should have been. I forget who suggested that, but that was a good idea. We should be seeing the lines from it. This is ridiculous. Let me see what other suggestions are going on here. Aaron Winter says, generate physics sounds about right. The thing is that we need to have the right node hierarchy, right? So, okay. Let's delete this again. Let's go back to our GLTF. Let's go to our advanced import. We need to have the root be the rigid body and it to have a child that is the shape. But if I go here and click physics, it's going to make the it's going to make a child that is the physics body, and we need to somehow like skip the parent or something. Any change made to this GLTF might be discarded in 4.0. I'm not sure what that's a reference to, but object I know other, but it might still be the way. You can right-click on the scene and say make local, then try setting it up. I think the collision shapes don't have to be direct children. They can be deeper in the hierarchy. Really? I thought they had to be direct children of the physics body. But still, we don't need another physics body. We need we just need this to make a shape. Whereas if I select this, it's going to be a physics body inside of a physics body. Unless we decide that the top level node is no longer a physics body, we can say this is node 3D again. And then if I say dynamic body here, it's going to create, I think it's going to make a node 3D with a rigid body with a mesh instance inside of it. Let's actually check that out. No, I don't want to open this. I want you to open the scene as a normal scene so we can look at the scene tree. You did it for me earlier. Come on. Okay. New inherited scene. That works too. Okay, yep. So we have node 3D, which has a rigid body inside of it, which then has this stuff inside of it. And we get two collision shapes. The problem is we just don't want this top level node. We want the rigid body to be the top level node. And it wasn't clear to me how to make that happen. I mean, we could just reach inside of it and just see if this works now. But I wouldn't want to actually make a game this way. So this would be, here we have to add it back to the scene again. Shuttle, this isn't named Shuttle anymore, I gotta rename it. And it was called Mesh 2. Ooh, we got an autocomplete. Yay! And let's again, rotate it. Rotated the wrong thing. Our shuttle, we're gonna rotate it. -90. Drag it up here. And I guess let's just see if this works. Okay, so we're seeing the collision shape on it now. And it falls. Okay. I like it. I like it. Could have been crazier. Could have had some torque. But how can we make it import without that like useless top level node? Aaron, oh, I see the problem. Dr. Revert, maybe it's not possible. Sounds like an oversight. It didn't enter the ground. How? Finally. Thank you, Gulliver. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the whole point of the import thing is so that we can make changes to the way the scene tree looks right away, rather than having to like mess with it as an inherited scene, which is exactly what I would have done in Godot 3. I would have not created the collision shape at all during import. I would have just imported it with the mesh. I would have, you know, new inherited scene. I would have changed the top level node to, I guess, rigid body, and then, you know, did what I did earlier where you click the mesh menu and say create a sibling. But here, I believe the intention is that we can just do all of it on the import screen. I just don't see how to do that. Skip import, I guess, would remove this entirely. Can I skip import the top level node? Root type, no 3D, scene root, show tangents, blah, blah, blah. Skins, animation import, import script, meshes, materials. Oh, wow. That looks crazy. Probably laid out as a texture, it probably makes more sense. Yeah, I just don't see how we're supposed to do this here. I guess I could see how we could do it with an import script, but that seems like overkill. The clean, why is this working? Dr. Revert, well, at least that hierarchy, you can make a reset method of the object. Yeah, I suppose. I can have a method that brings it back to the origin, to its local origin, which will be wherever we placed it originally. Yeah, I might have to do some research to figure out what the intention is here. Like, how are we supposed to use this? I guess, like, okay, let's just try and do it. Let's just try and do it the Godot 3 way. Let's go back here. Or wait, I didn't even look at the settings in here. Are these settings interesting? No, those are the same settings we see on the same window. So we are not going to make a physics body. Just don't do it. We are going to import this. I guess we will change the root type to rigid dynamic body. And then once that's done importing, we'll do new inherited scene. And we'll go to the scene tree. We'll go to this mesh. We'll say create simplified convex collision sibling. And we'll save this as shuttle. And then get rid of this and add the new scene that we just made, the new child scene. Oops. And again, we have to rotate it. And of course, we don't see it because we have to close the scene and open it again. We still don't see it. Where's my shuttle? Is it just too low? What? Over here, we don't see it either. Okay, I must have messed something up on the import. Let's go back to the import. So this mesh is being imported. This mesh is being imported. Re-import. And I still just don't see it. Yeah, the mesh is empty. Like it. What is happening, guys? This stream is turning out to be a lot more anticlimactic than I was hoping. We're just not getting very much stuff to work here. Anyone post any new ideas? Sounds like something worth reporting as a Git proposal? I don't know. Like, I feel like there is a way that this is supposed to work, and it's just not, which could be a bug. It could be something somebody's already working on or even already fixed. Or maybe I'm just misunderstanding the intention. I'm just gonna close everything. Let's close everything entirely. Let's reload current project. Okay. Now we see it. And now we see it here too. Okay. Okay. I'll take that. I'll take that. Let's rotate this guy again. Bring it a little bit closer to the ground. And yeah, I got to change the code because I switched to grabbing that mesh on the inside, but we just need the whole thing now because we redid it the Godot 3 way. And it works. Okay, so there's a couple of possibilities. One possibility is that the way that that the Godot 3 way is still the way that you're supposed to do it. And that I was completely misinterpreting the intention of the advanced import thing to completely eliminate this need to do child scenes, inherited child scenes. And maybe that's just what we're supposed to do. Or I'm missing some obvious feature that will allow me to bypass that and do it some kind of other way. I don't know. We're doing very important stuff here. Thank you, Aaron Winter. Thank you for justifying the existence of this stream. So many bugs. This is source levels of difficult. No, source is worse. Source probably is worse. It is an alpha build. Yeah. So I in no way am trying to make any of this be a dig at Godot 4 or the work that all of the contributors have put into it, myself included. Aaron Winter's contributed a ton to Godot 4. I'm just, I have never used Godot 4. I've written code for Godot 4, but I've never actually tried to use it. And so I'm just sort of trying to get in there and get my bearings and find out, how am I supposed to do some of these things in the future? How do some of these new features work? And I think I must just be missing something here about how this is supposed to be done. I guess I'm happy that doing it the way that I would have done it in Godot 3 still works perfectly fine. So, there's that. Godot 3 is still great. I still like using Godot 3. I still use it on a daily basis. So, I don't know. I think it's time to move on from the importing thing, though. I think let's try something else. How are we doing on time? Oh my gosh, already 11:18. Time has been flying by. We've got another 42 minutes to see what other troubles we can get ourselves into. Should we mess with physics just like generally? Is there anything interesting to do there? I mean, I guess like playing around with character body and seeing how that works could be interesting. Is that something folks want to do? I think the advanced import thing is really only meant to preview the thing you will import so you can see what it looks like beforehand. Yeah, maybe that's all maybe that's all that it's meant for. Okay, I'm just gonna start messing with physics to see what we can do there. There's always the possibility that we can go mess around with netcode stuff like we were doing the last time we were messing around with Godot 4, although I think we may have already spent enough time that that might be a lost cause, that we won't be able to get it very much done very quickly. So let's do physics main. We will add a static body. Static body 3D. I saw the 3D on the end and immediately thought that's the wrong one because I'm used to just seeing 2D and the 3D ones having nothing on the end. So we'll keep it called static body 3D. We'll do similar to before. We'll make a like a box shape to be the floor. And then maybe we'll put like a ramp or something in there. Something we can roll. Oh, but I should probably have a. Okay, rewind. I should probably like add a mesh. We should probably be able to see this, right? Add a mesh instance, and then we'll just automatically generate the collision shape. Not static body. We need a collision sibling. There we go. I don't see it, but I'm going to assume it is in the right place. I do not see it at all. Or maybe that line, maybe that very, very barely noticeable line there is the collision shape. And now let's add our character body, which, yeah, I guess we'll make a capsule shape and make a capsule collision shape. And we need to get you out of the ground. We'll lift the whole character body up. And we will generate the nothing. We will create our own because then we can use the exact shape. Let's add a collision shape. Perfect. And we'll give some kind of thing for it to go over. Another static body. It's been so long since I've started a new 3D thing from scratch. We'll see how bad I mess it up. So we need a mesh. Dr. Reverb, can't wait for Static Body 40. Me either. I want the static body that moves backward through time. Yeah, so we're looking a little bit at the new tile map, but yeah, I mean, we could go back to it and see if we can figure out any more. I'm not sure. Depends on what you guys are interested in. Let me know in the chat what you're interested in. Anyway, talk to you later, Aaron Winter. Let's make something. What is a good thing for us to make a ramp out of? I guess just a box. We'll just make a box and rotate it. We'll add a collision shape, and we will rotate you. Okay, how do I get you to stop snapping? Is this snap? I hate how it doesn't show me things when I hover over it. It's okay, there, that was the right one. I rely on that way too much when I'm using Godot. It'd be like, is this the thing I think it is? And just being able to hover over it. All right, so let's save our physics main. Because cameras are the worst, we are not going to make an interactive camera. We're just going to add a camera that lets us kind of see everything. Where are you, our camera? Cameras aren't the worst, by the way. Cameras are one of the most interesting things in 3D, but I always inevitably spend like, I don't know, 3 times the amount of time writing the code for the camera than I do for like just the normal game logic, and I do not want to go down that rabbit hole right now. Okay, so let's preview this. That looks fine. And it's time to script some things. I guess let's rename this guy, or wait, here's our character. We'll rename our guy character. We'll move this up and maybe give it a nice name too. Say ramp. Call this one floor. I'm also missing, like, the keyboard navigation seems to be not quite right here. Oh, it's working now. Before I wasn't able to hit enter and rename things. Let's add a script to our character. I did not pay attention to which direction. What? There's code in here. That's cool. Thank you for this code. I wasn't expecting you, code. I was expecting I would write all of this code, but you just gave me some code. Okay, let me detach the script and pay more attention here. So this is the attach script dialog, which has the usual stuff. It has a template checked, but it gives me like no options for the template. Oh, because the script now exists. I have to delete the script, I think. Yeah. Okay, let's start this over. I'm going to delete the script. I'm going to say attach script, and now it has a template with character body 3D basic movement. That is cool. That is cool. I wonder how you put those. I wonder how you put those templates in there. This would be really cool to see in the future if Godot can come with some like basic templates to reduce the kind of. Godot is a complex enough tool that you kind of have to like watch a tutorial before you can use it the first time. Like it doesn't just, you can't just monkey around and figure it out. But the more of this stuff that we can get in there, like maybe we can reach that point. I mean, we're not Blender levels of obscure where like you can't do anything without watching a tutorial, but you can't do probably anything that you want to do without digging into some docs or something. Anyway, this is cool. Let's just see how what this code does. I did the thing I was saying as I was opening this up is I did not pay attention to which direction the character body was pointing, which axis was forward, which is what I would need to know in order to write this code, right? Because it looks like, what is this code doing exactly? So it's applying gravity, it's setting up a jump, and then how is it doing movement? So we're multiplying the transform basis by a vector formed out of the direction we're pressing. Okay, so this isn't like first person motion where you're moving forward. This appears to be like free 2D motion, like as if you were watching it from above, I think. That's my interpretation here. And this is interesting too, the move and slide with no arguments. I mean, I like that idea for sure, because there's way too many arguments to move and slide. Let's see what this does. Okay, I need a light. But otherwise, this, yeah, this is 2D motion, like as if from above. And let's see what we can do here. Should it have been completely black? Well, let's add a light. We'll add a light. Everybody needs a light. We need a spotlight, right? No. We need a point light. I guess that's, hang on, that's a directional light, right? Oh my god, go away. No, stop. We need a directional light. And let's get out of the camera view. Let's find our light. And I vaguely recall there being like a thing where we no longer needed to put a light in because there would be like one created by default for the sun position. But maybe I was imagining that or something. Or maybe I needed to make a material. Maybe that's what was going wrong here. But let's try this. Let's try with a light and see what we get. Still seems strangely dark. Ooh, and you saw like I sort of came down. The gravity is a little bit floaty. Or at least it appears to be a little floaty. How do I jump? What was the... Oh, there we go. Hee! Okay, so I mean, other than me not understanding exactly why the color is coming out the way it is, that is pretty cool. Let's poke around at like what the different physics bodies and different methods are. But let me see what you guys are saying. Check the attributes of the object. Hey, Nyanel, how's it going? We now have 2 confirmed Polacks on the stream. Omnilight, point light. Yeah, I was thinking of the wrong thing. My brain was just in a weird place. And it's all blue again. Yeah, the dreaded Godot makes all scenes are blue. I think the default light is only for the editor. Need to add an environment node? Perhaps. You have pre-made light, you have to apply it to your scene. What are the 4's first impressions? Light is perfectly horizontal and doesn't light up the ground. Top menu above the view. Christopher Sunbaum, welcome to the stream. Oh, okay. So if Chestnut Puck is 50% Polish, then we have 2.5 confirmed Polacks on the stream. So top menu above the view. Okay. What is this? What is this doing? So this is giving us essentially the same view that I was seeing there. So this is the editor light. This is the real scene light. Is that what you're saying? Man, I am, generally speaking, a little bit lost in 3D all the time. And every time I start a new project, I have to like relearn some seriously basic things. But I'm like extra lost right now in Godot 4. So this is, I guess, the editor environment, which I'm turning on and off, perhaps. And then do we need to create like a world environment node like we used to? For some reason, I thought there was going to be like new cool defaults, or maybe the removal of a default. Maybe there no longer is a default for your project. There's just a default for the editor. Maybe something like that. Where do we do the sky? Do we do the sky in here? Or is that somewhere else? Okay, yes, we do the sky in here. I would like a... would that be physical sky? Is that the one where it draws it itself? No. What's the one where Godot draws me a sky? Godot, draw me a sky. Procedural sky? Okay. Okay. This seems fine-ish. Let's put the sun somewhere. Can we see the sun right now? Okay, it's over there. That is not what I think it is. How do we adjust the sun position? Is that it and it just wasn't moving it enough? No, that's definitely not what I think it is. I don't know how we'd move the sun position here. All right, well, anyway, I think we're getting closer. Everything is blue. Probably too much light is, too much of the light mix is coming from the sun. Something like that. Ambient light from the sky, from a color. That is ever so slightly better. We now have a sky, and we have some colors that are not blue and are not black. What is everybody saying here? Dr. Revert is also Polish? Ilu Polaków tutaj mam. Let's polish our Polish. The 3 dots, the tree dots, not nano. Background change the position of the directional light. Oh, okay, so maybe that's the thing I'm thinking of. Maybe the directional light changes the position of the sun? Okay. Okay, so we've changed the directional light a little bit. which I just cannot see. Okay, there's the arrow. And so then, where'd our sun go? Okay, cool. That's awesome. So this the sun position is controlled by the directional light. That is awesome. As far as I know, you got to use multiple lights to make the scene realistic. Yeah. Oh my god, press the 3 dots above the view. I'm going crazy. Okay, 3 dots above the view. I'm pressing them. I pressed them. Scene contains directional light 3D, preview disabled. Scene contains world environment, preview disabled. So that's supposed to give us a preview. But I have these things in my scene. Let me save it. I will delete the things. And then I can undo to bring them back if needed. I'm going to press the 3 dots. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Christopher. Sorry for making you crazy. Okay, so this controls it looks like the sun for the preview and the sky for the preview, which I imagine is different than what we see in-game. And I think this is probably what we're going to see in game. So let's test this theory. So we have this turned on with these preview things going. And I can move the sun position, which is super cool. And adjust the sky color, ground color. Make the ground like a brown. Let's get over to some kind of, it's maybe a little too orangey. Adjust the value. But that's fine. So this is what we're seeing in the preview. Then we run the game, and we've gone back to our gray, lightless cave. Okay, cool. So I think I got it. I think I got it now. This is the preview environment. This turns on and off whether we're seeing the preview environment. And if I bring in a directional light and a world environment, then that controls what we see in the game. And it appears to also control the preview. The preview no longer works. So we learned something. We learned something thanks to Christopher. You have to press add to scene. Okay, so that's interesting. I just want to look at the right thing again. Okay, yeah. So we can use the preview to figure out what we want, which I think is what you're saying. So I can turn on this stuff, mess with it a bunch, and then hit add sun to scene, which created our directional light, and add environment to scene, which created our world environment. That is cool. I like it. So where does this preview environment actually get saved? Like when we are not, when we don't have these things. Does that get saved as part of the project? I am curious. I'm going to look. Vin. We need Vim. Okay, not here. Does it get saved as part of the scene itself? This is physics. Where'd you go, physics main? Oh, because it's naming with a different naming convention than I usually use. I'm just searching for things that could maybe... No, it's not saved here either. So the reason I'm wondering that is I could imagine having a single like preview environment set up for your whole project, because your individual scenes are not going to have world environments. They're not going to have directional lights. Only like your main scene, or maybe like the scene for a level is going to. And it would be kind of cool to have sort of like a standard way that the editor shows things in the preview that is, you know, saved somewhere. Editor settings, maybe. It sounds like Godot doesn't do a lot of global settings, and an editor setting would be a global setting. It might be saved in the default environment resource. Do we still have a default environment resource? I know we did in Godot 3. We're using the saving of that resource as the way to find out when the editor was saving in the previous stream when we were making that add-on. But I don't see one. We don't have a default env tres. Let's close the editor, reopen it, and see if our stuff is still there. So it's still here. I mean, maybe it is an editor setting. Let me just see if there's like a, if it's in here again. No. Where do the editor settings get saved? I think it is share, no, not shutter. Local Godot, local share Godot. No, I don't recall. I don't recall where they're saved. Anyway, it's a cool feature, and thanks for bearing with me and helping me understand how that works. So what was this? This was Godot 4 test. And okay, so the thing I wanted to do was like take a little exploration into the different physics objects to try to understand how they work now, because like I was following in the issue queue all the different iterations that this took, and I am not entirely sure where it landed in the end. So no 3D. I want to get to collision object physics body. I think this is where I want to be at. So we have character body, rigid. Sorry, I'm yawning. I should never yawn on stream. Rigid dynamic body and static body. Yeah, so I guess rigid dynamic body. Someone was asking about the ability to change its mode, like acting as a rigid body versus a static body and a kinematic body, which is something I've definitely used when I do like interacting with objects with your hands in VR games. What I usually do is I make the individual objects rigid bodies. And then when you pick them up, I change the mode to kinematic or static body. And then when you throw it again, it goes back to a rigid body. So being able to do something like that in Godot 4 would definitely continue to be useful. And I really don't see something that looks like that right off the bat. Let's go take a peek at static body. And character body. Safe margin, my friend. The reason it's my friend, to give a little context, is I have a custom 2D physics engine that we just added a safe margin feature to, which solved a whole bunch of problems for us. Some issues with bodies getting stuck. Okay, so motion mode? No. Will we need to do a different trick for picking up rigid bodies in VR in Godot 4? Maybe the trick will be like somehow just turning off its normal physics. But one of the nice things about turning it into a static body is that you can like hit things with it. So we still want it to like be a physics body, but we just want to be able to control it manually. What is freeze mode? Here we go, freeze mode. Static body freeze mode. The body is not affected by gravity and forces. It can only be moved by user code and doesn't collide with other bodies along its path. That's not what I want. Kinematic body freeze mode, similar to freeze mode static, but it collides with other bodies along its path when moved. Useful for a frozen body that needs to be animated. Okay, pow. That is how we will do it. That will be in my VR games of the future. Freeze mode kinematic. Oh, and Dr. Revert found it. Eee. Oh my gosh, I missed a whole bunch of stuff here. Something like open editor settings folder. Oh, there probably is something like that, but it won't work for me in my window manager. Dr. Revert, what is freeze mode? That's totally the answer. In rigid body, there was something named freeze mode. Yep. What if I want to turn it into a kinematic but not freeze? No, I don't think it's like freezing it per se. It just means it's no longer going to be updating it as part of the like physics step. It's frozen as far as the physics engine is concerned, but you can then animate it in code however you want, like a kinematic body. And then what was object like no other saying? Maybe disabled or bugged, who knows? It's not it though. Cool. So if we look at this, character body is basically kinematic body. Static body is still static body. And rigid dynamic body is rigid body. There really hasn't been a very big reorganization. I remember some earlier versions, earlier proposals of how to reorganize this stuff. The reorganization seemed kind of extreme, but this is not that big of a change. This is fine. I can map my brain to this no problem. I like that all of the properties for kinematic motion are properties on the character body rather than being arguments for move and slide. I also noticed when I was over here in physics body that the test move method is on physics body 3D rather than on kinematic body. So test move, I'm pretty sure, is the equivalent of move and collide in Godot 3. So test move was move and collide, and move and slide is still move and slide. But in Godot 3, you only had move and collide on kinematic bodies, which kind of sucked if you're doing exactly what we were just talking about a second ago, taking a rigid body and converting it to a kinematic body and then wanting to animate it. You now need to do that without having move and collide. But in Godot 4, it looks like all physics bodies have move and collide, which is cool. Which is also cool for static bodies. Okay, so static bodies are called static, right? But I have I won't say very frequently, but not infrequently, I have decided to animate static bodies as a solution for something in my game, rather than, a kinematic body. And it's cool that we have access to that test move method here as well. Let's just read the description real quick. So static body for 3D physics, a static body is a simple body that can't be moved by external forces or contacts. It is ideal for implementing objects in the environment, such as walls or platforms, in contrast to rigid dynamic body. It doesn't consume any CPU resources as long as they don't move. They have extra functionalities to move and affect other bodies. Cool. Yeah, so it recognizes that sometimes you move static bodies. Static transform change. Static bodies can be moved by animation or script. In this case, they're just teleported and don't affect other bodies in their path. Constant velocity. When constant linear velocity or constant angular velocity is set, static bodies don't move themselves, but affect touching bodies as if they were moving. This is useful for simulating conveyor belts or conveyor wheels. Cool. So let's just look at rigid body really quick, although I think we do know what this is. This is the node that implements full 3D physics. This means that you do not control a rigid body directly. Instead, you apply forces to it, gravity impulses, and the physics simulation will calculate the resulting movement, collision, bouncing, rotating. You can switch its behavior using lock rotation, freeze, and freeze mode. So let me just look here. So if true, body is frozen. Gravity and forces are not applied anymore, but we can still mess with it. For a body that is always frozen, use static body. Okay, so yeah. Or animatable body 3D? What is animatable body 3D? Animatable body 3D, a body for 3D physics which moves only by script or animation. Useful for moving platforms and doors. How is this different from a character body? Is it just different in the sense that it's not intended to be a character, but otherwise you still kind of move it the same way as you would? A character body or kinematic body? An animatable body can be moved by external forces, but can be moved by animation to affect other bodies in its path. It's ideal for implementing moving objects in environments. Bodies move manually, either from code or from an animation player. So that's literally something I've never done. I've never moved a physics body with animation players. That's something that you're allowed to do in Godot 3? I didn't even know. Physics will automatically compute an estimate of their linear and angular velocities. This makes them very useful for moving platforms and stuff. Okay, so this is cool. I don't know if we had an equivalent for this or if this was a thing we could do in Godot 3, but I like it. I like this possibility. What are folks saying? I am lost here. Okay. Frisbee mode. I will play with it. Well, character body has many changes. I don't like the changes. The change that properties require extra local variables to work. That properties require extra local variables to work. I'm not sure what you mean by that, object like no other. I know that there's a whole bunch of properties that we can now set, which is nice because we get to give them names rather than just like the third argument in move and slide, which does anyone know off the top of your head? What's the third argument to move and slide? Let me see if I know it. So the first argument to move and slide is the linear velocity. The second argument is the up direction. The third argument is what? Is it slide count? Is it max slides? What is the third argument to move and slide? Did you guys know a pop quiz was coming in this stream? I bet you didn't. Kinematic body. Move and slide. Survey says the third argument to move and slide is stop on slope. True or false? I was wrong. I guessed max slides. So I thought of the fourth argument instead of the third argument. Anyway, I like that we can name the properties rather than having to remember the order of the arguments. So I'm not sure what you mean by the extra local variables. So I'll scroll down to see if it now requires another variable or it will loop itself when you use set or get. Like before we used set get functions, but now it requires another variable. Oh, I know what you're saying. You're talking about the GDScript change. The GDScript change to how get set stuff works. Yeah. So in Godot 3, it would automatically generate a backing variable for you that had the same name. And now you need to make your own backing variable rather than having one automatically created, and it has to have a different name. I actually like the new way, to be honest. I mean, I haven't done much with it because I haven't done like a real project in Godot 4, but I always thought it was super weird that in Godot 3 to set the backing variable, if you were within the class, setting the variable name would set the backing variable, but if you were outside of the class, setting the name would set the property, and then if you were in the class and you wanted to set the backing variable, you would type self.the variable name. I thought that was so mysterious, and like reading that code, it just wasn't obvious what was happening. I like the new way because it's more explicit. Like you know when you are writing to the backing variable and when you're writing to the property. But yeah, I mean, certainly there's a lot of personal preference that comes in how people like to program. Okay, so what else did I miss? Godot 3 doesn't have the built-in code to support escaping moving platforms. Cool. I haven't done a lot of moving platforms, but I do see a lot of people reporting bugs related to physics and moving platforms. Christopher Sunbaum, to change preview in your 3D view, press menu view, and in that submenu there should be edit light preview and edit sky preview. Says so in the PR, but I don't know if it's still current. Nionel says, but with rigid bodies in 3, you had a kinematic mode in them. Didn't it provide the kinematic functionalities? No. You would set it to kinematic mode, and then you could move it with code, but you didn't get like move and collide and move and slide on it. At least I don't think so. Here, let's open up a Godot 3 project again and take a peek. So rigid body. Rigid body descends from physics body, which means we have all of those methods plus these methods. And physics body only has this stuff, this collision exception. Kinematic body is where move and collide and move and slide come from. So in Godot 3, if you set a rigid body to kinematic mode, you do not have move and collide, you do not have move and slide, you have to code your own movement, unfortunately. But now you don't need to change this mode to access kinematic bodies for static bodies. Or they share some functions. Yeah, so they share some functions because some stuff that was on kinematic bodies now on physics bodies, so it kind of moves up. Sync to physics tick or something like that. Yeah, so you can also do a thing in Godot 3 and presumably in Godot 4 where you just like move an object and you have this sync to physics property turned on, and it will sort of like generate physics motion based on the way that you moved it. And Dr. Revert was recently suffering through writing code for moving platforms. Tricky, tricky. I know, that explains why people use a combo of rigids and kinematics for one character object. Yeah, I've definitely seen that as well. How are we doing on time, guys? We have 5 minutes. What is something we can do in 5 minutes? You know, I was not expecting this stream to go exactly like this. I was expecting we'd kind of just like poke around for a little bit and then dig real deep into something, but we didn't really dig real deep into anything. We played with, what did we play with? We started out playing with the tile map stuff, which looks super cool, but like, man, I need a tutorial to figure out how to really work this. Then we were messing around with the new import thing, which was not here. Where was that? That was in this scene with our space shuttle, which seems cool, but again, like I need to dig into like exactly how that's intended to work. And then we looked at the physics stuff too. Is there anything else that we want to get into? Oh, 9L says, tell us your impression of Godot 4. I'm not sure yet. I mean, I'm excited about all of the different stuff. I guess I'm probably more excited about the new netcode stuff that we were looking at the last stream that we were playing around with Godot 4. And I do need to still sit down and finish building out that little project that we were doing to test out making mesh networks with eNet. I'm really excited about that. The rest of this stuff, like, I think I need to use it. Like, I'm excited about the idea of it, but I need to like actually try to make a thing with it to really get an understanding. But I mean, it's clear that this is the future. We're heading in the right direction. There is some software I've been involved with in the past, like open source software, where the new version's coming out, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if we're doing the right thing here. And I think all of the changes feel like the right move. Yeah. What are other folks saying? Now says, it sucks. Hey, Furroy number 2. How's it going? I would love the new tile map stuff, but not sure the pain of converting is worth it. You mean the pain of converting from 3 to 4? You know, I think for the most part, people are going to not convert. People are going to finish their Godot 3 project, and then they are going to start their new project in Godot 4. I think I probably will personally mess around with some converting. I may, once all of the dependencies exist, I may try to convert Retro Tank Party to Godot 4 just to see what that's like, to see the experience to do that. But yeah, I think for the most part we're not going to be converting. We're just going to like finish, you know, this project and then create the new one in Godot 4. Godot devs are great. I concur. The Godot devs are great. Dr. Revert, I'm waiting for the stable release to port my project. So you are going to port your project. That's interesting. I would love to hear about your experience with that. They have correct vision, a bit slow, but you know, at least we have it. Yeah, I mean, most of the developers that contribute to Godot are doing so in their free time, you know, when they have other jobs and doing other things. I think Godot moves remarkably fast for having only something like 6 full-time developers working on it. I don't know the actual number. It could be greater than 6, but it's like less than 10, right? It's not very many people who work full-time on Godot. I know someone who converted from 2 to 3. Whoa! Yeah, again, I'm not sure I would have attempted that necessarily. I would probably have finished my project in 2 and then start my new project in 3. It took them months. Dr. Vert says, let's see. I'm actually doing a lot in engine source code to have my main mechanic. Cool. So you mean like you're writing a Godot module that you're compiling into the engine for your game? I'd be curious to hear about what you're doing with that. I also have a number of times made Godot modules that compile into Godot for my games, such as Retro Tank Party. We have the physics engine that I created. Chestnut Puck, I'm probably end up porting some projects too. Don't think my game is possible without modifying C++ code. So you're not making a new module with your game code. You're changing the base classes. Interesting. I've never I've never wanted to change a core functionality in the engine for a specific game. I have changed core functionality in the engine and then made a PR and contributed it back to the engine. I'm curious, like, what needs to be modified that isn't appropriate for the engine itself? Because the engine, I mean, is really extensible. You know, in a scenario where like even something as basic as like Node 2D doesn't do what I need it to, I made a child class of Node 2D and then had all of my objects descend from my special child class of Node 2D in a C++ module, right, inside the engine. But I mean, what needs to be changed? So you have a 2.5D kind of thing you're doing? Is that what's going on? Need a script that converts to 4.0. Does that exist? Yeah, so somebody is working on a script, like maybe two somebodies even actually. There's like one that exists as a gist somewhere, and then there is one that actually has a PR. And I mean, it's just an ongoing effort. It converts some things and lots of things it doesn't convert. I don't think any script will be able to convert all of the things. There's going to be, if you use some kind of script, you're going to run it, it's going to convert like 70% of the things, and then you're going to have to you know, do the remaining 30% manually. So Paper Mario switches between 2D and 3D. Relation of 2D and 3D objects. I still don't see why you couldn't make like, you know, your own like child class of Node 2D and your own child class of spatial that then maintained this relationship between the objects and not needing to actually change, you know, the underlying Node 2D and underlying spatial class. Like I just feel like there should be some way to write that code without needing to change the base classes, but just add more classes to the engine, which again you would do in C++ inside a Godot module that's compiled into the engine. But too many relations. Is your game open source? Because I would love to see that. I would love to see this case where you have to do that, where that's like the best path forward. Just to kind of like orient my mind on like what are the limitations of the engine, and are there things that we could change in the engine that could allow you to do that by extending rather than patching? You know what I mean? Anyway, any final thoughts? It is now 12:02. It is time for me to go for a quick walk before I have to go to a work meeting, and then continue with my mostly non-game dev related day. This is the highlight of my Friday for sure, doing these streams. And this stream was a little weird. We didn't build anything. We just played around, but I don't know. Maybe we'll do another Godot 4 stream sometime in the future, but with a specific project, like a specific goal in mind to create, and that'll like help focus our work and maybe get a little deeper into something. But anyway, thanks everyone for coming. Great to see all of you. I will chat with you on Discord or otherwise see you next week. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.